Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at one of the Forge World legends from the Necron faction. Okay guys, before we do, we're just going to do a quick shout out to one of our newest Warlord members in the members area of the channel, which is Cordero R. So I just wanted to shout you out before we get into the video. In fact, if you want to join the channel, you simply find the join button next to the subscribe button, and it will take you onto a page which gives you more information about what to expect when you join the channel. And we've actually recently included our new Discord server for paid members only, where we're talking about 40k content, suggesting videos for the channel, and talking about our games and whatnot. And the last little thing here before we get into the actual video is, if you haven't yet subscribed, I would like to kindly ask you if you could just subscribe below. 58.6% of the actual viewers on the channel are not yet subscribed, so hit that subscribe button below for more Necron content. Okay, now that that's out the way, let's get on with the video. This one's going to be the world killer Kutlakh. Unfortunately, he doesn't actually have a model. He's still located in the Warhammer Legends, which you can actually find on the Warhammer community page. If you click FAQ and downloads and then go down to the Warhammer Legends, then scroll across to Warhammer 40k and click Forge World, you'll find his datasheet in there. So before getting onto the video, we're going to do a shout out today at the start of the video this time because it's quite fitting. This was going to Jamila Ginzi. They're still waiting for the Legends Necron unit, so here we are today. And we actually did a poll after that comment asking the viewers if they actually wanted to see Legends within this channel, and 77% of you said yes, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Apologies, that is a long intro, but now we are actually going to get into the video. So let's get straight into the datasheet then for Kutlakh the World Killer. He's coming in at 6 power level or 110 points. He's got a movement of 6 inches, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+, strength 5, toughness 5, wound 6, attacks 4, leadership 10 and a 3+ save. Now notice that there's 6 wounds as opposed to 5. The standard overlord does actually have 5, so he's got 1 additional wound there. As for the actual war gear, he's equipped with a Staff of Light and an Obsid Axe, and you can only include one of this model for your entire army because it's a named character. So let's get on with those weapons, starting with the Staff of Light. It's quite a common Necron weapon here. It's got both range and melee capabilities. At range is 18-inch range, assault 3, strength 5, -2 AP, 1 damage. And in melee it is strength user, which is again strength 5, -2 AP, 1 damage. So the same profile in both melee and shooting, except in shooting you're going to be getting 3 shots, whereas in melee you're going to be having 4 attacks. As for the Obsid Axe, well, it's strength +1, making it a strength 6, -3 AP, and the damage is 3. So you're not really going to be using the Staff of Light in melee because this profile simply outclasses that, because it's got an additional bit of strength and an additional bit of AP, as well as being 3 damage as opposed to 1. So you've got no need whatsoever to use the Staff of Light in melee with this model. Furthermore, it's actually got the phylactery. Now I'm not sure if you have to pay for this upgrade or not. It doesn't actually state whether you have to pay for it or not. I'm going to presume you don't in this case, but you'll have to let me know in the comments whether you do or not. And basically what this does is each time you use your living metal ability, you're going to regain D3 lost wounds as opposed to 1. As for his actual abilities, well, he's got living metal to regain a lost wound at the start of the turn, pretty standard, which of course goes with his phylactery ability that we've just mentioned, and the command protocols, which are done each and every battle round, and will give your army a buff depending on what directive you choose from that command protocol, and of course they've got to be within 6 inches of a character model, and there's got to be a noble on the table. Now Kutlakh is a noble model, and he's also a character of course, so he's going to always be benefiting from the command protocols, and he'll be giving out those buffs to units within 6 inches of him. He's of course got all the overlord buffs as well, so he's got My Will Be Done. For Dynasty Core units, we'll get onto that part in more detail in the faction keyword section, but for now, Dynasty Core units within 9 inches could +1 to the attack hit rolls. He's got a 4+ invulnerable save with his phase shifter, and he's got the Relentless March Aura, again for Dynasty Core units within 6 inches, add an additional inch to their movement and advance moves. He's then got a unique ability called Spirit of Madness. So when he makes a melee attack against the unit, if the unit's leadership characteristic is higher than the leadership characteristic of that unit, you can reroll the hit rolls. Now, Necron leaderships are always 10, so you're very likely to have a better leadership than the opposing unit, so you should always be hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s in melee there. As for his actual Warlord trait, well, he's got the Inspiring Leader aura, adding 1 to the leadership characteristics of friendly units within 6 inches of the Warlord, which isn't that great if I'm honest, as far as the Warlord traits go, but that's what he's got. Then on to the actual faction keywords. Now this one's really important here because it's a massive nerf to his actual datasheet as a whole. So he doesn't have the dynasty keyword. He actually belongs to a dynasty, which is the Maynarch dynasty, so you cannot be putting him in any of the 6 generic dynasty codes or the custom codes because he's already got his own set dynasty that he's got to be a part of. But other than that, he's an infantry model, he's a character, a noble and an overlord model. There's only one stratagem that is available to this model, which is the Resurrection Protocol for 1 command point. In any phase where your Necron's infantry noble gets killed, you can roll a d6 at the end of the phase instead of using any rules triggered, and on a 4+, he basically stands back up again, so as close as possible to where it was actually destroyed, and 1 inch away from enemy models with D3 wounds remaining. So if you're desperate to keep that My Will Be Done ability going off, you can use this one. Also, it could be potentially blocking secondary objectives for your opponent there. As for actual unit synergy, there's not really much, again because of that dynasty keyword. There's the obvious synergy with core units such as warriors with the My Will Be Done ability or Lich Guard, giving them +1 to their hit rolls and a +1 inch to their movement. And also if you're using Lich Guard unit, you can use their Guardian's Protocol aura, while a friendly dynasty infantry noble is within 3 inches of your Lich Guard, they cannot be targeted with ranged attacks, even the ones that avoid the Lookout Sir rule. But very important again that it actually states the word dynasty. So you've got to be playing that dynasty with your detachment in order to be able to use the ability. So let's get straight into the actual summary of this model, starting with the good. He's got all the Overlord buffs as you'd expect, because it's an Overlord of course, so he's got the My Will Be Done ability, he's got the Relentless March ability, he's got a 4+ invulnerable save with his Phase Shifter, which is always nice of course. Then he's got a slightly better melee weapon than the Staff of Light, with that Strength 6, -3 AP and 3 damage weapon in melee, with 4 attacks as well. It's not too bad. And of course he's a much needed noble character for your command protocols, as we mentioned in the abilities section. If you don't have any noble characters on the board, you can't be using the command protocols. Furthermore, he's got that Phylactery war gear, whether it's free or not I'm not sure, but he does have access to it regardless, which is always a little bit of a bonus. And then finally he's got an additional wound over an Overlord who has only 5 wounds. As for the bad, he's got no options of having relics because he's a named character, and he's got no choice of an actual Warlord trait, again because he's a named character. You can't stick a Resurrection Orb because there's no option for it, and you can't be choosing any dynasty for this model to be going in because he's got his own set dynasty, which is a real bugger if I'm honest, because it means with the detachment you have to use his specific dynasty, which doesn't have any rules or abilities within the codex whatsoever, pretty much nerfing your own list if you're taking this guy. He's then 15 points more expensive than a standard Overlord model, which is actually kind of ridiculous when you can't even stick relics or resurrection orbs on him, and no choice of Warlord trait as already mentioned as well. Then finally you can't be using the on Stratagem to get that double My Will Be Done buff going off to your core units, because it doesn't work on named characters. So after all said and done, unfortunately this is not going to be a great star rating. It's probably why it's put in the legend section if I'm honest, but this is going to be getting a 1-star rating. So guys, any of you out there still using this model? If you are, let me know below how you're using it and why you're using it, to be honest, because I can't see why you'd be using it anymore over a standard Overlord model. But that does sum up Kutlakh the World Killers Datasheet review and Planet 40k rating for this video today. If you want to see more of these legend reviews, let me know in the comments below who you want to see next. And of course the best comment will be shouted out on the next Necron video. So guys, like and subscribe on your exits. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.